All right, we are heading into week 2 of the 2024 fantasy football season. And how many of y'all out there won or lost your week 1 matchup because some kicker decided to drop 20 plus points on or for you? If we had it go against you, don't worry, we're here to solve your problems for you this week. We're going to get you the kickers you need to start and or stream for week 2 of the fantasy football season. Let's get into it. All right, first up, a guy I think you gotta start this week, Jake the Snake Moody for the San Francisco 49ers. Tied for kicker number 1 in week 1 with 26 points, was 2 for 2 on his PATs, but 6 field goals, 6 for 6, including 2 of 50 plus. Now he's rostered in only 85% of the leagues, so he's still out there for some of you guys to go scoop up. Again, this San Francisco 49ers offense is electric. I know no CMC probably for this week and next week. That's perfect for us. They struggle to punch this ball into the red zone. We saw the Jets defense bow up and get some stops. And Kyle Shanahan, keep kicking field goals, keep putting points on the board. Now they're going to Minnesota. Vikings defense number 1 of points against last week, but they gave up 2 field goals, and the Giants passed on 2 red zone field goals as well later in the game. I think this Vikings defense is very vulnerable. They're not disastrous, but they're not going to be something that's going to overwhelm this 49ers offense, but they are good against the run. They were good against the run last year. They were great against the run last week. I think that's where they're going to get those red zone stops against the Niners, and the Niners will take field goals. They matched up last year. Niners had to settle for a few field goals against the Vikings defense. I think that's perfect. And plus, the game is indoors in Minnesota. And if you know anything about kicking in Minnesota, kickers all of a sudden become Superman. I think their league average for 60 plus yard kicks is like 30%, but when they're in Minnesota, it's like 65%. So if you're looking for long range snipes, Minnesota is the place to play your kickers. I'm liking Jake Moody here as a guy you gotta start. All right, my number 2 kicker this week, Matt Prater. Yes, the legend himself. I can't believe he's still kicking out there against the Rams. Only 2% rostered on Sleeper. I think you go out there and grab this guy if you're needing to stream a kicker. Only 8 points last week, but he was perfect. 2 for 2 on the PATs and 2 for 2 on the field goals. Playing a Rams defense that really wasn't overwhelming at all. They're ranked 20th in scoring, and the game's indoors in LA, should be perfect kicking conditions for Prater. Now, he's maybe lost those big, long kicks that he had earlier in his career, but I'm locked in on a guy who's pretty accurate and automatic for the Cardinals now. And the Cardinals offense is a lot better than I think a lot of people are giving it respect for. Obviously, you out there knew the Cardinals offense was going to move the ball against the Bills. And again, I didn't feel any heat from that Rams defense. Now, they did tighten up in the second half, but that's what we want to see. We want to see the Cardinals be able to move the ball, get into that 40-yard plus area, and get towards the red zone and then get stopped. You want to see those stops. You want to see them kicking field goals. And the Cardinals will put the points on the board, especially if they're playing a division opponent on the road. I think that's kind of the key thing to look at. Jonathan Gannon, defensive head coach, don't think he's going to be super aggressive. He'll take the points, especially coming off of blowing that lead in Buffalo last week. He knows you got to put the points on the board. I think Prater is a great streaming option for you guys this week. Great weather, consistent kicker, good offense, and a mediocre defense. Love Matt Prater this week. Okay, let's go with another guy who's absolutely money, might be the best kicker in the NFL now. That's Brandon Aubrey of the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Saints this week. Now, 21 points in week 1, perfect for everything, perfect for PATs, 3 for 3, 4 for 4 on field goals, 2 of 50 plus. He even was lining up for a 71-yarder. Mike McCarthy wouldn't let him kick it. I think he had a shot to make it. I mean, whenever Aubrey lines up, he is a money kicker, and his leg is incredible. He's kicking 60-yarders like they are no problem. Now, again, he is 99% rostered, but if you got Brandon Aubrey on your team, hammer him and make sure he's in your lineup. Facing a Saints defense that ranks 5th in scoring, but they played the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers aren't great. Game is at home in Dallas, so indoors, weather is not an issue. I don't love what I saw from the Cowboys offense against a good defense in Cleveland. Now, did they play a little bit more conservative because of how bad the Browns offense was? Yes. Do I think the Saints offense is better? Yes. But do I think that the Saints offense could struggle to move the football this week? Absolutely. And that's what you want. You want a team that really can't score, and the Cowboys just keep racking up points points, kicking the field goals. Mike McCarthy will take his points. If his defense is balling out there, he doesn't need to run up the score. They can run up the score, but if that Saints defense is going to hold, I like Aubrey absolutely to have another monster week. If you somehow can get him on your roster, do it now, because I think him and the Cowboys could be in for a very nice season offensively when it comes to kickers. If you're as confident as I am, head on over to the Underdog Fantasy. Check out Jake Moody over 1.5 field goals made, and pair that with our free pick'em of the week, Josh Allen over half a yard. Don't worry if you're watching this after Thursday, you also have CeeDee Lamb over half a yard. To get that free pick, use code THECATCH at Underdog, and not only that, you're going to get a 50% deposit match up to $1,000 when you use the code CATCH. Check out the link below. Let's get back to the video. Okay, another interesting streaming option for you guys this week is Jake Bates of the Detroit Lions against Tampa Bay. Now, Tampa Bay's D was 16th in scoring, so right in the middle of the pack, but Washington missed 2 field goals in this game. Cade York getting cut. He's terrible, so there's a lot of opportunity here, and I didn't necessarily love what I saw from the Lions offense all around. They kind of struggled a little bit against the Rams. Now, 8 points for Bates in week 1. He was perfect. 2 for 2 on the PATs, 2 for 2 on the field goals. Now, Dan Campbell is a little bit of concern because he is hyper aggressive. He will forego field goals to pick up those first downs. But when you're playing a team like Tampa Bay is going to score points. I think the Lions are going to have to keep up, and they're going to score a lot. So if you're even just getting those touchdowns, getting those field goals where you're not in that 4th and short range, it's 4th and 8, he'll take the points because you got to start racking them up. And I think this Tampa Bay secondary really needs to be worked on. I know they did good against Washington, but this is a much different team they're facing this week in Detroit, indoors in Detroit, perfect kicking conditions. I think Jake Bates has a solid week for you guys. And like I said, only 13% rostered. I think he's a good start stream for you this week. Shouldn't have an overwhelming, crazy week out there, but I think he's more than solid enough to get you what you need out of your kicker so you don't lose a close matchup. Okay, and my final must-start guy this week is Justin Tucker against the Raiders. Now, Tucker, all reliable, but not so much anymore from 50 plus, unfortunately. Only 7 points against the Chiefs in week 1, was 2 for 2 on his PATs, 2 for 3 on his field goals with that lone miss coming from 50 plus, and he's made 150 plus yarder in the last 2 seasons. He's really struggled from that distance, so maybe they're going to stop kicking from there. But this Raiders defense is bad, ranked 17th in scoring defense, but they play that Chargers offense that I don't think anybody's afraid of. Ravens coming off of a long rest. Now, Lamar Jackson's a little bit banged up, which is what you like to see potentially. I mean, you don't want to see a player hurt, but maybe they won't be as hyper aggressive. Lamar's not running around, and they're going to be relying on Derrick Henry and other guys to carry the load and potentially struggle in that red area. And we know a Harbaugh is going to do what a Harbaugh is going to do. He's going to take the points. He's going to kick the field goal, especially against an inferior opponent like the Las Vegas Raiders. They're not playing the Kansas City Chiefs where they have to get aggressive and go for it on 4th downs because they got to score a ton of points. I think they'll take their points where they can get them this week against Vegas. So expect a lot of kicks from Tucker and the Ravens if they're not punching it into the end zone. And the weather's going to be perfect in Baltimore. 83, feel like 84, a slight wind gust. It's hard to project these out on Tuesday when I'm recording this, but I think the weather should be good. Hopefully no crazy storm rolls on in there and makes it a terribly sloppy game. But I like Tucker this week. He's 99% rostered. So if you can find a way to get him. But other than that, Justin Tucker, a must-smash start for you. And finally, a great streaming option this week for you. We crushed it on our last pick last week with Groupie for the Saints, 22 points. This week, my guy is Joshua Karty for the Los Angeles Rams. Only had 9 points in week 1, but he was perfect, 2 for 2 with PATs and 2 for 2 from the field goals. Only 3% rostered. Excellent opportunity for you to go out there, pick this guy up if you need him. Facing a Cardinals defense that ranks 30th in scoring after week 1. This Rams offense should be able to move the ball up and down the field. We talked about it indoors in LA, but the Rams have to win this game. They dropped week 1 against the Lions. They're going to have to take advantage of this home game in division against the Cardinals. But guess what? Puka Nacua is out. This could be where the Rams struggle. The Rams were not great in the red zone against the Lions last week. Maybe they have those struggles continue for them once again, and we're going to have Karty trot out there and kick us 4 or 5 field goals. But worst case scenario, the Rams hang up a big number against a bad Cardinals defense, lots of possessions, lots of touchdowns, and still a good amount of field goals. So if we get 4 touchdowns and 3 field goals out of him, that's an excellent week. I think Karty is a guy you'll want to be streaming this week at only 3% rostered. Really, really good stuff from him. I like him as our stream of the week. But that's going to do it for us this week. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'll be answering all of your kicker questions in the comments throughout the week. And if you haven't already, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. We got new daily fantasy content every single day. We have all sorts of videos out there. Your must starts for every single matchup: running back, wide receiver, quarterback, tight end. We got them all. Your must stream defenses, boom or bust, running backs, receivers. All of your questions answered in the comments, but you make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss a thing. Again, like, subscribe, and share. We'll see y'all tomorrow.